Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and the sun is shining outside, so we're just plain living in style.
In the sunshine.
In
Good
the
morning.
sunshine.
I'm Peggy Burton,
Yes, you are.
and I'm.
As lovely
Proud
as
to be
ever.
here.
As lovely as ever.
You're lovely too, John.
Well, I don't know about lovely. You do have to ask my wife about that.
Yeah.
She'd tell you the truth. Always.
Always. Yeah, I'm glad to see the beautiful day. I was just telling Julia as I came in today out from the country where I live, all the weeds and trees are covered in icy
Yeah.
mist, and the mist is going up in the air. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved watching it. It was just really like a magical.
We live out by Vocal Lake, and
you
you
probably have
live
a lot
and
of
you
that.
live where there's hollows,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes like the other night I love going home because the closer I get to where we live, the more fog and mist there
Yeah.
is because of all the water down there. You got Tullahoma Lake and a Vocal Lake right
So
down
you
there,
get
pretty close together.
Is it so foggy, is it hard to drive?
And you know, you're driving down through there and it's like you're in, I've never been to London.
Oh gosh,
But
yes,
you know,
it's like
it's
London.
like you're in another place, another country.
When my children used to get on the school bus when we lived in London, they just disappeared in the fog.
Yeah.
I'd put them out the door and I didn't see them anymore till they got home that night.
Did you ever, were you ever fearful in your travels?
No, I guess I wasn't smart enough. I had things that I should have been fearful of,
Yeah.
like engines stopping and on a plane and things like that. But I
But just to be in another country and
no, I honestly,
Feel-
it was different, very different. I did have a little bit of nervousness about snakes.
snakes.
Yeah,
Where did you
because
see
cobras,
snakes?
Cobras. I
Oh.
could just picture them around,
And
standing
where were
up.
you living when you had to worry about cobras?
That was the Philippine Islands. I ran over one in the driveway one time, and I didn't see it till the next day, thank goodness, and it was dead. But I didn't get real close to cobras.
No, I don't think I would either.
You'd see pythons in the trees and people, and the Negritos that lived on the base. So it's a tribe of short people, and Aborigines.
Uh-huh.
And they would be killing pythons and roasting them,
Oh,
cooking
yeah.
them, and cutting them. And
Rattlesnake is good.
they tell me, but I don't think I've eaten a snake. I've eaten dog, and I didn't know that till it was
Cat,
over.
you probably had some cat too.
I was hoping not.
But well, if you were
But,
somewhere
yeah.
where you were eating dog, then you've eaten cat too.
Well, I didn't know
probably.
about the dog until it was, it was really good, I have to tell you. It was barbecued and grilled, just
Sure.
right. And I made the mistake of asking the person serving the food, what is that? It's so good. And it was dog, So you had to watch your dog all the time if you owned a dog.
That brings me back to an age-old story I've told many times. Fran's grandfather, Bolin Morton, they had a group over there in Manchester. Of course, back in the day, Thanksgiving Day was Thanksgiving Day. And then the Friday after Thanksgiving Day, usually they killed hogs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, on Saturday, all the men went hunting. And so what they would do in Manchester is all the men who hunted would Saturday would bring this stuff in, and they'd have a big cooking and eat game. It was wild game nights, what
Right.
it was. And so,
Quail
and that
and-
lasted, that lasted for years and years and years. And then, of course, a lot of the guys later on of means would go hunting in Africa and different countries.
Yeah.
And they would bring back antelope or whatever, and they would have. So one night it got so big, it used to be in a hall over there, it got so big they were doing it at the school cafeteria. And so I go in there and I look at this one pan and it's red.
Yeah.
Barbecued red, but it was red, blood red. And later on, I realized it was goat because goat barbecues up pretty red.
Yeah.
And, but it was labeled sore-eyed cat.
Oh, gosh.
And not a soul took a
I bet
put a
nobody
put
would
a
touch
sore-eyed
it.
cat on their
Listen,
plate.
my mother could really do a great job barbecuing goat,
Yeah.
and nobody would know it was goat. It was fabulous.
Well, I mean,
There's a trick
we had
to
a
it.
place here. What was that? What was it? The Red Devil.
And they
out
sold,
across
did
from
they sell goat?
right across from the utility board where it is out there now. There was the Red Devil, and they sold goat
No.
barbecue.
My neighbors, the first trip to the Philippines, I lived in a village, and one of my neighbors was was serving goat. It wasn't really cooked, it just had spices in it. And that sort of turned me off. You know,
Raw goat.
well, yeah, and it was, I guess, like we cure ham or something.
Well, yeah, probably
They had
so.
stuff all in it, and I just couldn't bring myself to try it. I always was so congenial and eat anything, but I just couldn't do it. That's the one I turned my back on.
Yeah, I can understand.
It just made me a little nervous. And
Made
I'd
you
grown
nervous.
up around goats, and we did cook goat. You know, I was used to that, but.
Well, I was very impressed as I read the article in the Tullahoma News about the solar farm
Yes.
that they're putting out in between Tullahoma and Lynchburg.
In Lynchburg.
And they were talking about how this company really takes a lot of pride in keeping the environment the way it was, and making
I've
sure
wondered
that
about
the
that, yeah.
animals who were there and the grasses, and they said there's certain types of grass and flowers that are on that property out there that are different, and so they're
And they
going
want
to
to
be very
salvage it.
careful of that. And so what they do is that property is somewhere around 4,000 acres,
Yeah.
and they'll use about half of that. But what they do to manage it is they have started herds of sheep,
Oh.
and they bring sheep in, and you're raising sheep. The sheep are keeping the property clean,
Right.
the grasses and stuff down, and you're raising a certain type of sheep, and
they automatically fertilized.
fertilized, protecting the property. And I just think that's outstanding.
It is.
But
if
they
they're
have a
doing
herd, they have about 8,000 sheep overall on their different locations.
Is that going to supply power for
Yes.
all of? Well, I knew it was going to supply, but for all of Lynchburg.
I
or
have
is it
no,
just
no,
for-
it'll be
certain
just
things?
like if you have solar panels, if you did it as a person, say, okay, I'm gonna put solar panels on my house, and you put 3 times what you need. Well, if you have excess power, you sell it to TVA.
Oh, okay.
So that power that then I'm not a scholar in this. I just sort of figure out how. But what it is, they're generating power,
Yes.
and that power will either be sold to Lynchburg Power or it'll be sold to TVA.
Yeah.
But it goes into the grid,
Light tube?
huh?
Will it-
Well, no, they have their own.
They have their own.
They have
okay.
their own solar area.
Is that what's keeping our electric bill low, or
Well, you would hope.
I would think?
Yeah,
I would think
yeah, I
that's
would think so.
supposed to be the.
But I was impressed with that article and how that company does business,
Yes.
and in
that
a very
wasn't-
careful way with
That's
the
good to know.
environment.
That's
and
good
I
to
think
know
that's
because
good.
in my mind, I was thinking, wow, that's going to take all this land and screw up the environment.
Well, see,
and
it
all
was
that.
forestry. It was forestry land, and I think maybe the state of Tennessee owned that at one point.
Possibly.
And when they and it's something where you go, okay, grandpa plants 1,000 walnut trees. And a generation from now, his grandkids cut them down and have a fortune.
And then,
You know, and so what this is another way of taking that property, once it's harvested of the
Right.
wood that's on it, and instead of waiting another 100 years for it to generate income, they put a solar farm right
Yeah.
there, and they're generating income within,
Well, I hope it
2
works
years,
really
3
well.
years. Oh, I'm sure it will.
I hope it will,
These
yeah.
people have done, they're one of the biggest in the world at doing what
They've
they
probably
do.
done their homework on this.
They have, and the city, the county of Moore,
Well, aren't we investigating the same thing here in Tullahoma?
well, the
Possibly.
Light Tube has a
Right,
solar farm.
But I thought I read something about doing more,
Well, maybe so. I don't know.
or
I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
just in my head.
But it took them they've been working on the details on that now for at least 2 years. Trying to get everybody comfortable with what it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's a-
cost
it's a
and what the
huge
rent's gonna
project.
be and,
Yeah.
you know, everything that goes along with it. So, I thought they've done a very good job.
I've got one little solar panel sitting in my window,
Do you?
and I don't have a clue what to do with it, but Bart gave me this, and
Does it go into a battery?
supposedly, yeah, that I could plug something with it. I've got to investigate it, but it's sitting in my window.
No, that's nice. I know I've seen advertisements on television about a little thing that's probably as big as an old radio, about that big, that tall, and it has 2 panels that goes with it, and those panels keep that big battery charged to where
And
power goes off, you can plug in
well, I think
your refrigerator, you can plug
if it's
in.
a small thing like I have, I think maybe it's like you can plug it in your phone and plug in your coffee pot or something
Sure,
like
but
that.
it's something instead
It'd
of
be
nothing.
something, right.
Yeah, plug a little heater in.
I've often wondered if I should get a generator for my house, but I do have gas also.
Yeah,
So
you've got a
I
fireplace.
think I'm okay.
Right.
I've got a fireplace, but I had the chimney closed off because I found a small snake in the floor.
But so you have gas in that fireplace?
I have gas in the fire.
Yeah,
No,
very good.
no, not in the fireplace, in a gas stove.
Gas stove, there you go. Well, that's
That
good.
keeps me warm if it's that bad.
So what we're gonna do right now, this is, we're gonna read a few things out of my Loku book. And you can get one of these if you want. Just give me a call, 581-5238. There's 366 of them, one for every day.
That's a lot.
And it's $25. So inspirational type things. And I'm just open a page and I'm gonna read some. There's no telling that everything from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Right.
Because of a slip on a skip, a move during a dance step too many, or a fall by a misplaced step, one thing we don't do old as well as we did young is bounce. He said, she said, his car, her bed, looks given, things implied, expectations unfulfilled. Nobody lied. The story intriguing, a spell worth the bind. Want to know the truth? Read between the lines.
That's a good one.
A warrior fighting evil barehanded, a walk through Walt Disney's mind, the perfect new melody on the tip of memory. Then I levitate and fly. Dreams.
That's good. Yeah.
Skin and bone, flesh and blood, gather in the warm darkness of creation. Only joined parts and pieces defined at the beginning is at the end by the presence or lack of a heartbeat.
Wow.
You know, and this is a very, very difficult subject, but I'm just going to give you my view on it. How do you know someone's dead? When the
Well-
coroner says the heart stops beating.
That's what
When the
I
heart
hear.
stops beating, they're dead. That's what
That's what the
the
coroner
doctor
says,
says.
yeah.
They're dead, the heartbeat's gone, you're dead. Well, then why do we have so much trouble figuring out when someone is alive? Huh?
Good point.
Seems like to me, if a heartbeat not being there means you're dead, when the heartbeat starts ought to mean when you're alive.
That's true.
Pretty simple to me. My kilt is in the closet, pipes in the corner ready to play, haggis in the freezer, a single malt on the shelf. I celebrate my heritage daily. So for me, every month is Scotch History
There
Month.
you go.
They just had the Burns dinner. I guess that was last weekend.
I know, I wish I could have gone. I often have.
Whether you are forced to choose to fight, whether you are forced or choose to
To
fight,
fight.
stand strong in your search for right, and always temper your resolution with mercy.
Good.
One's life may reflect goals achieved and things acquired, but you will be remembered by what you do with these things. Your legacy will be defined by your choices.
True.
It's been said youth is wasted on the young. Boundless energy stray from frivolous to sublime. But when the time comes for grave decisions, defer to Winston Churchill, who stated, "When youth departs, I pray wisdom is enough."
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So with that said, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with the brand new show.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Serving you as a local firefighter. Proudly served our country in the United States Air Force. Serving Tullahoma. Helping our kids.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop. Your comfort is our service. We'd like to thank Tullahoma for the privilege of serving your heating and cooling needs.
People in Tennessee are starting a movement.
Ouch. Thank you.
To clean up the litter on our roadways. Litter hurts our environment and endangers wildlife, and it affects our quality of life.
Here, grab me. Thank you.
Help keep our state litter-free.
Let's roll!
Visit NobodyTrashesTennessee.com and be a part of the solution to end littering.
Saving the best for last.
That's right! Nobody trashes Tennessee!
Welcome back. I'm always excited when Greg Gressel comes on. Good morning, Mr. Greg, Chairman of South Jackson Performing Arts Center.
Good morning.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to be here.
You run off to New York, and I thought
did.
maybe you wouldn't come back.
No, well,
got
you know, it's
nervous.
a great place to be. It's a
Yeah.
great place to visit, but I was glad to get home.
I know. We're always glad to see you there, too.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of things coming up.
We do.
I have tickets for Steel Magnolias, which is coming up this weekend, I believe.
This weekend, it'll be
Friday.
the 31st. That was just Friday, then the 1st and 2nd, and then the following weekend, which is 7th, 8th, and 9th. And so tickets are selling very well.
Good.
We do encourage people to go ahead and get them, or they're going to lose that opportunity for that seat you really wanted. So.
Right. They have a wonderful cast.
Great cast. I
think
got to sit in on a lot of the dress rehearsal last night, and it was just incredible.
Was it going
so
well?
Impressive. Yeah.
5 women, right?
6.
6, okay. Oh, I forgot. I know. I should know this play. I was in it. I did trivia. I did the lead in this many years ago.
So.
But I love the play, and I like it because you can laugh or you can cry. There's a lot of wonderful things that come out in this play.
It is very iconic, and yes, you're going to laugh, you're going to feel the emotions, you're going to, all of that. And I told them last night, I sent them all a message and just told them that they did an incredible job displaying all the different emotion, really articulating it. And,
When I said 5 characters, I forgot the person, I forgot the one doing the hair.
Yeah.
And that was Buffy, what's her last name now?
Bourdonnais.
She does a great job.
But she's not in that role.
Oh, she's not?
No, that's
What?
Kimberly Mayer.
Well, I
Buffy
need to
is in the
figure it
show.
out. I could pick, somehow I thought that she would be doing hair, since she
Yeah.
is a hairdresser.
Right.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
there's other things happening, so let's talk about that.
Yes, there are. So we'll get through the next couple of weekends. It'll be great shows. And then the end of February, I think the 21st through March the 1st, is Aladdin Jr. And that's with our Teach department and our PAC departments. They're both doing the show. It'll be 2 weekends long. It's a junior show, so it's great to bring the kids to. Probably be about an hour, 15 minutes.
They do a great job.
And they do a phenomenal job.
It's amazing to me how much talent has grown out of that program.
Yes.
I'm really proud of it.
I think altogether in all the different areas, both cast through PACT and through Teach have over 70 kids involved.
They do. And that's just wonderful. And Amy Beckstead, is she the director?
Amy is the assistant director for the Teach, and
Colleen?
Buffy is the
Oh, Buffy
director.
is the director.
Buffy's the director, and Amy's the assistant for Teach, and then I think Jeanette King is assistant on the PAC side.
I've just seen that program grow.
Programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really
and that,
proud.
You know, we have one director of the show, but 2 assistants because we felt like we needed that cohesiveness. Because it is 2 very different departments. The one department is homeschool division. The other department is everyone.
Everyone.
And so one practices during the day, one practices during the evening. And so we really felt that cohesiveness was important and went to one director for the show with assistants.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Besides, it takes a lot of help.
It does.
You can't just throw a show up there.
No, you can't, and not with 70 young
people.
So.
I think that's amazing. I think we've kept a lot of people off the street. I feel like we've offered some wonderful things for our young people in this community.
Sure. And, you know, it is a part of being involved in the community to have this asset here locally for our community to partake in, you know. And so, I mean, right now, you know, and over the last 3 months or so as they've been rehearsing, we've been working with over 140 kids.
I know, it's amazing.
And so when you think about it, it's pretty amazing.
And if you're out there and don't know about South Jackson Performing Arts Center, and you would like your children involved, you just go online, southjackson.org, and look it up, and you'll find out everything you need to know, like tickets and everything else.
Yeah, there's stuff on there about auditions. There's stuff on there about the different departments, different youth departments and everything.
Are any auditions coming up? A lot of things have already been auditioned.
A lot of things have been auditioned for, like Hunchback, which is happening in April, has already been working for months on their show. So we do have one more show this season, which is in June, and that's the abridged works of Shakespeare. It'll be done on the Courtyard stage, and so auditions will be announced for that soon. And I think the new season, July, starts our new season, and Seussical is our first production, and I know they've already put in their information, so that'll be up soon.
So there's lots of theater going on at South Jackson. In June, we have the Folk Festival coming back, which is 4 countries represented, and looking forward to that.
If we slide back to March, Miss Tullahoma is March 8th.
Okay,
And
I wanted to bring that up.
And the
It's been changed a little.
The forms are available. They're at each of the schools in town and at South Jackson, and available online.
No, I don't really know all the, I know there's 4 different categories.
There are 4 different categories.
And that's a little more than it's been,
Yes,
I think.
they added Young Miss Tullahoma, which encompasses the rest of the elementary schools. There was a little Miss Tullahoma and then a great big gap until they were in middle school.
So
they
now
filled the
there's
gap.
4
So
opportunities.
that now all school-age young ladies can participate.
And anybody that wants to sign up, do they come to the Civic Center or call the Civic Center?
They can come
do it online, maybe?
Go to the offices at the schools, pick it up. They can come to Performing Arts Center, pick them up there at the office. They are also online. So they can do that, turn them into the office. They're due by February 20th. And the date is March the 8th for the production and the event. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. We've had arguably one of the best Miss Tullahomas in Tullahoma history.
Great.
This past year, she was just incredible.
She's
Paisley
been,
Lowe,
I've seen her face in a lot
she's
of
everywhere.
events.
She has
I'm real proud of
represented
her.
the city well. She's represented the position very well. And so she's really set a precedence for what it means
To be Miss Tullahoma. I love that. And it's March. Also, March, we have St. Patrick's. We've moved that date to...
We have St. Patrick's will be on the 13th, which is a Thursday night instead of the 17th.
Right.
We just have a lot happening at the center, and the 17th would have probably been an okay day on St. Patrick's Day, but we've got a lot happening. We need to keep that space available for a Hunchback that's got to get prepared for their show. And so it is on the 13th. It's for the entire family. It is going to be a lot of fun. We've got a great group of musicians coming, and so
I think it's always fun, and
good food. Good Irish-inspired food.
There's games for the children and lots of things to do, and you can put on your St. Patrick's Day outfit if you want to. You don't have to, but grab a little green, wrap it around you.
Exactly. On the 13th of March, and then the 15th, just 2 days later, is Generic Mail.
I know, and that's a real unique thing, and I know you have had more experience in what it is they do. They're a gymnastics sort of.
Well, it's definitely dance and storytelling. It is physical theater. I would say it's Cirque du Soleil meets James Bond.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
It is so incredible. They're coming to us from New York. We're just extremely excited to be able to have this group in. It will be something in our season you do not want to miss.
It'll be very, very unique. How many people are in it? Is it 2? That's what I thought.
And they'll be doing. They're going to be doing a master class workshop with maybe involving local dance companies and doing some things that are going to be pretty incredible. And
I'm really glad that we're doing that, because educational outreach to me is very important. And in April, Jazz on Jackson, we have a workshop that will be open, but you're going to have to sign up. I'll have more about that after we talk about it, but they're going to do a workshop around 1:30. I think it's when we'll have to do it, because school is out that day at 1 o'clock. Anyway, we have some students that will be coming, and it will be a free workshop, and hopefully that they will come back that night and see the show.
Yeah. Yeah, so lots of incredible stuff going on. If we have enough time, I'd love to talk and squeeze in our new season if people haven't seen it yet.
Just go ahead, squeeze it in.
Our new theater season, we're still working on our performing arts season, but our new theater season was just announced. And
good.
I alluded to that first show in July, and this takes us from July of 2025
to
into
26.
June of 2026. And but we start with Seussical. That is a packed production.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then in September will be Anne of Green Gables.
That's a wonderful play.
It truly will be. And then Evil Dead on the Courtyard stage the 1st of October. Then towards the end of October on the main stage will be the 50th anniversary of Rocky Horror.
That ought to be a blowout.
That'll be a blowout for sure. And then in November, our Teach program is doing 101 Dalmatians Junior.
Oh, sweet.
So it'll be really, really fun, really good. And then in December, we will do Holiday Inn, Irving Berlin's Holiday Inn.
That's going to be a sensational
kind
musical
of that
also.
prelude to White Christmas. So
Yeah.
a lot of fun there.
And about White Christmas, all the awards.
Oh, yeah.
I am so proud of that.
Yes,
We got many awards.
It was a great thing. Then we go into 2026, and in February, excuse me, in February, my brain just Little Women, the musical.
Little Women, yes.
It is an adaptation, a musical adaptation, received incredible reviews, and so we're really excited about that, Little Women, in February. And then in April is A Chorus Line.
Oh my.
Which will be a phenomenal
That's
show.
That's huge. I guess Kristen has her hands full.
She will have her hands full with several different shows that she'll be choreographing.
She's done a phenomenal job, by the way.
She truly has. And then in June, we will do 1776, right before the 250th birthday of our country.
What a cool thing to do.
Yes, we just got the rights to 1776.
I'm trying to think. The original one was done in Tullahoma, was done out at the old airport.
Northern Field.
Where we had leaks in the ceiling and you name it. But it was a fabulous production.
And then in 2017, we did it at South Jackson.
We did it at South Jackson when you did it, and I thought that was phenomenal. You know, it's hard to say which is better because it just gets better. I think it's a play that you can watch anytime and see something new. Even though we feel like we know everything,
right?
There's always something new to see.
The last time we did it in 2017, I had a multitude of high school students tell me they learned more about history doing that show than they had in their history classes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it's interactive. You're involved in it. You
become part of it.
Differently.
I know it's a wonderful opportunity, and thank you for doing it.
Next July, also, there's a big show going to be announced in February. We can't tell you yet what it is, but in February, we're going to be able to make that announcement, and we're super excited about that. That'll just kind of round out things. Then our season tickets will become available. People can get those.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yes, it'll be February before we roll all that out, and you can purchase them up through the end of May, I think. And so, going to be a great season, a very, very strong season. Plus, we haven't even put in all the incredible performing arts stuff that we have.
I know. We've got to get on that.
We will get on that and be making some of that happen.
I just want to mention the new stage. I'm so excited about getting the stage refinished.
Absolutely.
That's been in my mind. How long is it going to take to get a stage?
Right. So a big part of all of our big renovations in the auditorium, everything has been this new stage, which was completed
And I promised Blossom
I
I would mention the museum. I think, do we know when that's going to be ready again?
Well, it is being worked on. We've received grants and working on refurbishing the museum.
It looks good.
What's been done so far looks great. There's a lot still left to do, and then new showcases and everything, and it's going to take them some time to get things into these new showcases, but we're super excited about the museum being back, and we're hoping for early spring. So hopefully all the work will be done here real soon and they can get started on that. And so that it's a lot of positive things going on. We're
What do
super
you do in
excited
your
about
spare
it.
time, Greg?
Think about the stuff that we need to be doing
I know.
To take care of things. But you mentioned the awards. We're super grateful to a community that sees the value in what is done at South Jackson. Thankful to the arts as a whole for recognizing, what we do. We knew that there was something incredibly special about White Christmas when
There
we did
was,
it.
very
and to
definitely.
see that
Recognized.
kind of recognition
I
was
was
just incredible.
thrilled.
7 of the
I've
awards.
just got to mention Curtis Haas.
Mm-hmm.
I just am so proud of him for.
Yes, one of
And
our
then-
leads.
And
Wonder.
Wonder.
It was just spectacular. And Kristen Carroll
all
was
of
just
everybody.
spectacular.
It just really some
And
great
then
workers.
To be the favorite theater in the region, in the area. I mean, it's not Nashville, it's not in Murfreesboro, it's not Chattanooga. It was here. It was us. It wasn't Cumberland County. It was us.
Often when
And that's pretty exciting.
A few times when I've contacted an agent or something, and I'll always give our address, they'll come back to me with, "Wow, you people are really changing things there in Tullahoma."
Doing our best.
That's
Doing
I'm
our
real
best.
proud of that.
Representing the arts.
Yes. Oh, we got 000. I think that means we got to hush.
We have
and
no
go.
time.
I love you, Greg.
Love
Thank
you,
you
dear.
so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back with other things.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 Woo.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size.
Yeah.
Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, last night, I know some of y'all watched the city board meeting and some don't. Last night they had a discussion about planning a study session about the city hall building and what needs to happen there. It's in horrible disrepair, and our city administration, Jason Quick, had a presentation just showing the board some of the issues that are going to happen there, and it's going to be between a $9 and $12 million expense. Do you tear it down? Do you relocate the staff for 2 years while one's built back there, or do you remodel it? And there's a whole lot of stuff going on right there, and a whole lot of reasons for it to stay there at that location. Either whether you remodel or tear it down and rebuild. And there are going to be study sessions going on about this starting pretty soon. And I think it's very important that the citizens understand what's going on there and might want to show up at these study sessions to see what the discussions are on this, because it's a lot of money. And of course, the place is about to fall down, basically, bad. It's 50 years old. And you know, a lot of the wiring, plumbing, and everything. There's roofing, air conditioning, but this presentation will show you that. I just thought it was important enough to bring it on this show, although it was at the board meeting last night. I want you to see it yourself on our show, because that's what we do. We bring you local information right now.
Agenda item 25-14, a request from the city administrator to schedule a study session to allow the city building feasibility study project team to fully present its report on its assessment of potential options regarding the future of a city building for the city of Tullahoma. Mr. Quick?
Can we pull that up on the screen? Okay, so you'll have a copy of this, and this is going to be a 30,000-foot overview, and just trying to give you where we kind of landed on this. So in March of last year, Resolution 1980 was brought before and passed, where there was a request to do a feasibility study on the current building. One had been done several years back, so we were asked to take the previous report, bring it up to date, look at what the building looks like since that last study. The building that we are currently in was built in 1954. I think many of us know that it housed the public utility, it had the city hall, it had fire department, police department. So that it was built as almost a all-in-one kind of a building. The structure's aged, and it is basically outrun our current physical needs and what we need from a building. Space limitations have created silo mentality for departments. As departments have grown, they have moved out of the building, and that creates some of those silo issues that we've been working with as I've come on board. And then we have some physical and operational deficiencies. I can tell you from what we're doing from a physical standpoint when it comes to heating and air and some of the basic utilities, we're paying a lot more than what we should. All right, so basically what's the desired statement is for us to come back to you with a comprehensive study to determine the best option. You, as the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, will determine what that best option is. We're going to give you three that we think is something to consider, and then we're going to ask for you to have a study session to determine what you would like to do, if anything. Based on our assessment, we should be able to get 18,000 square feet, or we would need 18,800 square feet in order to bring in planning and codes, compliance, and maybe another department should we choose to. So we would house additional departments, and it would also be able to meet the future needs of the city. We would be looking at, if we were to go forward, not what does the city need now, but in the next 50 years, what does this building need to be able to do for us as we grow in numbers. All right, the analysis of the problem. So again, we know the current structure does not meet the needs of the city. There are some probable biohazard and other safety concerns throughout the building. We know that there's a strong public sentiment for this current building, for especially some of those that have been born and raised here. This is where City Hall is. This is where it's always been. We are at the beginning of a residential growth spurt, as mentioned in some of those previous numbers. We know that the current downtown location where we are now is very desirable, and there are multiple options for us to look at. So put together a project team where Sue, Butch, and I worked with several. We went with Alan Hill. He was the one that was involved with the police department, so he fully understands not only the city but also understood this building from some of his previous interactions. We had Scott St. John as our structural engineer, and then we also brought on Tim Little from OLG from a mechanical engineer standpoint to produce an assessment. Basically, our focus was to define what's our project scope, what are we looking to accomplish, identify the required data and resources that we need. We wanted to make sure that everybody understands the true existence of the building. When you drive by, you can see it from the outside, but really what does the inside look like, and what does a normal day look like for those of us that work within the building. We wanted to see what those optimal space calculations would look like for a new structure. Get cost estimates for each one of our identified solution, but then also try to give you what we see as our advantages and disadvantages for each one of those, and then we just kind of assigned our task and moved on. For those of you that don't know, that is our existing floor structure. Doesn't show well from the screen, but you can look at it, and many of you have been throughout our building. You will notice, though, that especially on the right side between City Hall and the police department, there's a lot of space that is not used, not able to be used, that is something that we still have to provide heat and air and other resources towards. So the existing structure, we definitely have water damage from deteriorating masonry and stone veneers. We had an issue just a week ago where we had a lot of wind and rain come in, and then we started having roof leaks where we weren't expecting roof leaks. I had to call over our director of safety and compliance because we had water hitting electrical wiring circuits that were exposed, so we were concerned about fire and whatnot, so we were able to get our maintenance over here to make sure that we were good there. I don't know who, I think probably 30 or 40, 50 years ago, somebody came in and they were a flat roof salesman because they sold Tullahoma, a lot of Tullahoma buildings, school buildings especially, on flat roofs. And so there's continual issues that we have with our flat roof. Our HVAC system, we continue to try to keep piecemealing it together. Stroops has done an outstanding job of keeping us up and running, but we know that there's going to be a need to get all that replaced. Our plumbing is a huge concern for us right now. There's basically a water line that runs from tip to end that is made out of clay and some other material that is not supposed to last for 50, 70 years. And, you know, I will tell you this, if Butch were here, he's at a doctor's appointment, he would tell you he thinks we're living on borrowed time, that if that pipe were to have issues, we would have to evacuate the building post haste. So we have that major concern. There's also concerns about our electrical system overall. We have breaker boxes all over, and what we've had, and again, kudos to all of those that have been a part of this, is you've been trying to put together Lego pieces that really didn't need to go together, but we have electrical circuits that probably would not pass the newest codes that we have with ICC, and that just creates concerns for us. And then again, the presence of biological hazards throughout the structure, and one of the things that I would highly encourage is, before we have our study sessions, perhaps take some of you on a tour that haven't been upstairs into some other areas to let you kind of see what we have. I will tell you, just recently I had Butch and his team do a temperature reading in every single office in the building. We had thermostats set on 73 to 75, but the average temperature was 63 degrees throughout the building. So you'll see that we have heaters, you know, plugged in, and people with blankets and whatnot. So it doesn't make for a very comfortable setting. So here's some potential solutions. We came to you with three. Basically, we would look to build a new building on this current site. The advantages for that is we can do a complete redesign for our future needs. If we were to go up one floor and have a second floor all the way across versus, you know, we have a second floor and then a first floor and then a second floor, we could probably increase our square footage by a considerable amount to what we have. We would have reduced site development costs because we own this. Basically, we would be looking at just the demolition. And then another advantage is the sentimentality of this downtown location that so many people appreciate. What are some of the disadvantages? Because of the way that our lot is set up, we would have limited configuration opportunities on how we would really want to create. Basically, we'd be able to go from tip to end like we are now, but we would just be able to build up. Major disruptions to the major thoroughfare, obviously the major thoroughfare being North Jackson and the intersection with Grundy, that would be something that we would have to contend with. The higher per square foot building costs are strictly due to the demolition, so that would be, if we were looking to go into a brand new building, you don't have those demolition costs, or to another building. We would relocate all of our employees that are located here currently for anywhere from 18 to 24 months. You'd have those relocation costs that go alongside that. And then the parking issues that we continue to have would not be addressed in front of Tullahoma City Municipal Building. Second option, new building on a new site. So we do have a couple of city-owned properties, or at least one city-owned property, and potentially a second one that could come on board that we could look at, that we could just start from scratch. So there's no barriers to the design freedoms. We could pretty much do what we want, design it how we want to. We could also, again, have ability to expand for the future. One of the things that I had talked about is possibly if we build a 3-story building, we would not finish out maybe the top floor, have it all ready, and then depending on what the costs look like, then we might could do something from a expansion or renovation standpoint, go in there and finish it out should we need that 3rd floor. No interruptions from our people, would not need to relocate. We could keep going as is. The sale of our existing building and location that we're sitting in now could create tax capture opportunities if we could bring somebody in that would either want to try to renovate this building, or if they themselves said, you know what, we like the location, but we want to put up a new building, we could look at doing that. And then there could be an opportunity for a town mall opportunity, which you're starting to see more of a mixed commercial use, especially commercial and municipal developments. I think about the one in Nolensville that also has a residential component to it. The disadvantage if we were to build on a new site is we lose that sentimentality of where we currently are. The disruptions to the thoroughfare, again, are going to be a disadvantage depending on if we were to decide to relocate. You are losing a large, valuable piece of property that we're sitting on right now, which has some strong economic appeal, probably not at the current moment, but definitely in the future. Don't know what the marketability of our current building is. So we would need to make sure we understood what that would be before we ever decided, from my standpoint, to ever leave downtown. We'd have to know what's coming here. You don't want to leave a negative impact, as you'll see on the last bullet. For a downtown revitalization, if we're trying to get businesses and people to commit and to invest in downtown, if the city doesn't do that, then that may be a disadvantage in the eyes of many. The last solution that we wanted to bring to you is adapting to an existing non-city-owned building that currently is here in the city. Definitely you would have reduced renovation costs versus new. Let me go back up, and I apologize for this. If you look at option 1, we're looking at an estimated cost of about $11 million. If you were looking at option number 2, it would be anywhere from $9 million to $12 million. And a lot of those are tied into some of your demolition costs on solution 1. Then on slide 3 is really to be determined based on a selected building. If we were to look at an existing building, again, we'd have the reduced renovation costs. We possibly could have an improvement of an underutilized site in an area of town that definitely needs revitalization. We could have our city services uninterrupted. We would be able to increase our parking options. And again, possibly we could spark some new development in a different part of town. If you look at the disadvantages, sentimentality concerns, again, are discarded. The marketability of the current building, we do not know what that is. The, again, negative impact on downtown revitalization. And then you also always have those unknown hidden costs. If you were to buy an existing structure, what's behind the walls that you weren't able to determine? Next steps is basically we would like to ask for a study session, and we would focus on those 3 options. At that study session, we will be bringing you a report, and in fact, we will provide you a copy of the report that shows all of the information that we've come up with, what those spacing options would look like, and a lot of the pricing information that you'd be looking for. Bring that to you to begin dialogue on what you want to look to do, what would you want us to do. And kind of the way I've looked at it is it's almost like we're drilling for oil, and we've drilled 3 holes where we think there's opportunity in all 3, but we can only drill in 1 hole. So I think that's where we would sit with you and just say, here's where we are, let you talk to the experts, and then try to make a determination on what does the future of this building look like, and what do we want to do. That is pretty much the presentation. I know I went through it fast. I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're looking at, and I'm prepared to answer any questions you'd want to ask tonight. Yes, sir.
What is the difference in cost of a new building comparatively to renovating?
You know, honestly, Alderman Mathis, the renovate or to build and rebuild on this site. Let me back up for a second. We did look, is there a way to renovate this site? But the cost to renovate this site is going to be the same and could be even a little bit more than if we tore it down and built it back up. If you look at the outside structure that has the marble and the stone, that's what a lot of citizens have talked about that appeals to them. If we were going to try to maintain that, in talking to the engineers, in order for us to do that, it's going to be 50-50 on if we can ever even do that without disrupting the stone outside. On a similar note, we had somebody come in 2 Saturdays ago. They were coming through town, a national company that our architect and consultant uses quite a bit, and they wanted to come in and just try to clean a patch of the marble outside. And they did, and their recommendation coming back is it looks okay, but if we were to do all of the marble, we probably would not be happy with it. There would be some yellowing in some spots that they wouldn't have any idea how it would look. But for us to build on this site and or build.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Serving you as a local firefighter. Proudly served our country in the United States Air Force. Serving Tullahoma. Helping our kids.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop. Your comfort is our service. We'd like to thank Tullahoma for the privilege of serving your heating and cooling needs.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman. And this is Pat Welch and John Weir here today for the 79th segment of Conversation with John and Pat.
Pat, occasionally when we do these, we'll do a span of maybe 4, 5, 6 of them in a row. And on 78, there was a question who wrote the song that I sang last time. It was Woody Guthrie.
Okay.
And Woody Guthrie also wrote the one I'm going to do here. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself. Jesus walked that lonesome valley. He had to walk it by himself. Nobody else could walk it for him. He had to walk it by himself. You've got to walk that lonesome valley. You've got to walk it by yourself. Nobody else can walk it for you. You've got to walk it by yourself. You know, Woody Guthrie, just thinking back, I didn't even get one applaud then. Normally, we have somebody out there who will do.
I think management was spellbound by that, John.
It could be.
Yeah.
But Woody Guthrie, if anyone would study his lyrics, those are folk songs. He did This Land Is Your Land, and then Going Down That Road Feeling Bad. That's the one we did last segment.
Is it Bob Seger that we've mentioned before? He was a real big folk singer at the time. And
Woody Guthrie had a son, Arno Guthrie, who did songs similar to his dad. I'm not sure if he wrote them. I don't know much about Arno, but Woody Guthrie is something, really something.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. We've got an impossible segue for that today, John.
We'll just do it.
Yeah, we'll just jump right in. A couple weeks ago, I went out and visited Coach W.C. Dub Cooper. I like to go by there every 2 or 3 months, and he and his wife Betty, not in great health, but their minds are really stout. And if you remember, Coach Cooper coached high school football in Tullahoma from 56 through 66, and then was principal at West for many years, and Betty worked in the administration building. But I found, Philip, put up that 1948 UT. This was the program from the Tennessee-Alabama game in 1948 in October. Was played in Knoxville, and Kyle Bill's a good friend, able to get that program for me, and I took it over there because Coach Cooper played in that game, and he was General Neyland's player of the week and against Alabama. And as he looked through the roster, he could tell a story or identify just about every person in there and who he'd talked to. In fact, I don't think that was one, but in that whole roster wasn't but one other player still alive. But he mentioned one. He said, "There's one. I don't know if I've told you this before. That boy's from Tullahoma," and his name was Tom Brixey. And when I went home and looked him up a little bit, I found one really interesting story. And then next segment, number 80, will come back and I'll cover Mr. Brixey in a little bit more in depth. But I found out that the class of 1953, which would be that senior year of the football season, of course, had been 52. Coach McClure had come from, Creed McClure had come from McMinnville and was hired as the football coach. And he ended up in 55 having a great team that was undefeated that Frank Mullins was a big part of. But anyway, coming from McMinnville, they played McMinnville that year on a Friday night. And of course that was a big game to Mr. McClure. And but Chevyville and Sparta were going to play in Chevyville for some reason on Thursday night. And Mr. McClure got wind that some of the players had found that out, and he was afraid they were going to go over there and watch some of that game, and he wanted them in bed, royal rested for the Friday night game, for their game. And he put down a stern warning there all where nobody was going to that ball game. Well, we had 3 colorful figures from Tullahoma's history. Eric Soulsby, who is still with us, and he played at Vanderbilt, I believe, in the 1955 Gator Bowl team. T. Motlow and Billy Joe Finney. they all snuck off, drove over to Sheffield on Thursday night, and supposedly wore, according to the report I got, they wore long coats and had big hats on and tried to cover up where nobody could find them and sat on the Sparta side. Well, Tom Bixby, Coach Cooper's friend and player, fellow teammate at UT, he was coaching for Sparta and recognized who they were, and he and Coach McClure, Mr. McClure, were really good friends, and so he called him that week and said, you had 3 players over here, or called him at night, Thursday night, you had 3 players over here at Sheffield tonight, and he said, oh. So, of course, he did a little investigating, and he suspended them and threw them off the team for that, at least for that game, and wouldn't let them sit on the bench. And they were behind by 6 points at halftime, and supposedly the crowd was egging the 3 players on, and they went to the fence and got in a discussion with Mr. McClure that was supposed to have been negotiations for what it would take to come back, and they agreed on 100 laps after following practice the next week. Well, that would have been 25 miles, and I'm having a hard time believing that those boys ran 25 miles after practice during that week. But anyway, he did let them come back. And
they weren't built for cross-country, were they?
No, they weren't cross-country, especially T wouldn't have been a cross-country runner. And so they ended up coming back and went to the gym from Old Wade Field, you know, it was where you would have coached basketball. They went up there and got the equipment on, came back, and Tullahoma won 19-13, and it was ended up being a great story from a group that loved to tell stories, and, and T was T. Motlow was some kind of storyteller, and they had a reunion not long ago in 2013, I believe it was, and supposedly the biggest story was that there was a gentleman in that class, Robert Owens, who I think was related to the Owens family that owned Crescent Box. And he became a naval admiral. And when he first got into the service, he was a fighter pilot and supposedly flew over T's farm in Moore County upside down and said he grinned at him. He was so low that he grinned at him. And T claimed that that there was not a hen that laid eggs or a cow that gave any milk for 2 weeks after they were buzzed by Admiral Owens. And supposedly in the account I read, Admiral Owens admitted that he flew the plane over the farm, but the rest of the story, he said, was embellished. Johnny, have you got any questions or follow-ups on any of that?
Embellishing is something we might do from time to time, but we don't expect it from other folks. Might. Oh, by the way, just to end this up, you know, we've talked about the great migration from Chapel Hill to Tullahoma. Kathy Orr, she was a Hill, Joe Orr's wife, Kathy, a good girl from Chapel Hill, and then also the Hargroves, Margaret and here I am embarrassed, but Mr. Hargrove from over there, they go to Highland Baptist Church over there, and Arthur Hargrove. Thank you, and but good folks.
Well, John, we may have a little bit of time. Let me work one more Motlow story in there. T's brother, Doug, was another colorful figure that had, there's plenty of stories. And these, if they were embellished by Doug because he told me to my face these 2 stories. And we have to understand that football in the 40s was not as tightly regulated as far as age and so forth as it is now. And Doug told me that he played 4 high school games in a week. He played for Tullahoma, Lynchburg, Castle Heights, and another one. And I can't remember.
Morgan.
You may be right. But I asked him about how that was legally able to go, and he said, well, the Castle Heights played in a prep school league, military league, and so he used his real name playing for Tullahoma and playing for Castle Heights, but he used an alias for the other 2 games. And he said, now, well, he said, at the end of that 4th game, he said, I'm a little sore. which I can imagine after that fourth game may be a little bit sore. And as we'll close with this last part, as far as age is concerned, Doug finished high school at 21, and he said he can remember one of his favorite stories was that he went to the principal's office, and he and the principal and the director of schools, Mr. Lee, all went to vote for Roosevelt at the same time when the voting age was 21.
Great story.
Isn't that a good story?
Doug Butler.
So we'll wrap up segment 79, and but we hope that's not the last segment, because we've got a lot of stories. The Motlows are full of stories.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton's Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere. Like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with sodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Serving you as a local firefighter. Proudly served our country in the United States Air Force. Serving Tullahoma. Helping our kids.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop. Your comfort is our service. We'd like to thank Tullahoma for the privilege of serving your heating and cooling needs.
People in Tennessee are starting a movement.
Ouch. Thank you.
To clean up the litter on our roadways. Litter hurts our environment and endangers wildlife, and it affects our quality of life.
Here, grab me. Thank you.
Help keep our state litter-free.
Let's roll!
Visit NobodyTrashesTennessee.com and be a part of the solution to end littering.
Saving the best for last.
That's right. Nobody trashes Tennessee.
Welcome back. I want to talk about I started to say Thanksgiving, but
Look at here, look
Valentine's Day is coming up February 14th, and the South Jackson Street Band will be at Bell Buckle Banquet Hall.
And
Are you guys going to come?
And if you guys, I hope so.
I hope so, too.
If you haven't done it, you want to do something to make your wife happy, you tell her not to worry about Valentine's, and you get some tickets and you go down there. It is the most enjoyable thing. The music is delightful.
Their decorations are fabulous.
Absolutely wonderful.
The decorations always turn me on.
There is not a woman alive who wouldn't love to dance, trip the light fantastic with her honey.
Which would be nice. At the night of the event at 6 o'clock, there will be a free workshop with Tim Taylor, who is renowned in the ballroom dance business. He and his partner just won every prize in a big contest in Gatlinburg. They won every contest, I think at least 4. And they'll be there, and he'll be teaching a little bit of ballroom dance to give people opportunity. But you don't have to have classes to dance. You know, you can dance by yourself if you want to.
And a lot of them do.
A lot of them do, and I've always said everybody ought to dance. It's just good for you.
It is wonderful for
Keeps
you.
your body moving, and anyway, it's also good to sit and listen. And I think they have a BYOB, bring your own bottle if you want to.
Sure.
But they have a fabulous meal, one of the best, I think.
Oh, the food down there. Of course, it's the Bell Buckle Cafe. It's the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall.
Yeah, it's the banquet hall.
It's Jay Gregory and his
It's
wife.
really nice. They do things at the banquet hall besides having a dance. They do weddings and all kind of stuff.
Oh, it's
but
great. That's where Jacob and Cindy got married.
I know. It's a great
And we
place.
we had the dinner before their wedding in the back room of the Bell Buckle Cafe. Was the
Right.
Was the bachelor night or whatever you call it.
There's a lot of things going on in Bell Buckle, and that's February 14th, which is actually Valentine's Day this year. And we have one of the songs, Stardust, with the South Jackson Street Band, and I guess this would be Alan Johnson directing. We have a new director now, because Alan's moved, but this is from the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall.
Stardust, isn't it?
Yes.
Stardust.
Isn't that what I said?
You did. We
South Jackson Street Band is Middle Tennessee's premier big band. Visit our website, sjsband.com.
This has been a Ron Hackett Music video production.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Woo.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size.
Yeah.
Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
I am the wind, says the eagle within.
Oh.
All right. I thought I was going to get to introduce that, and here it is.
Yeah,
well,
it
last
is.
week we had Darius Wallace, so we had an interview with him, and this is Darius doing The Wind. It's one of the greatest things that I've seen on stage. A talented young man showing you the top of the art that he does. Darius Wallace, The Wind.
I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in. But in my weakness then I find my blessings begin. Suffering is the daughter of struggle. Struggle is the grandmother of success, he said. Success is the man-child of miracles crucified by jealousy, the closest friend. Resurrection is overcoming hatred. Hatred is the uncle of revenge. Revenge is converted by love. Love makes broken hearts mend. Mended hearts bring truth. Truth is the root that makes the tallest tree ascend. These trees create the oxygen that makes me again the wind. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in, but in my weakness then I find my blessings begin. I am the wind that brings victory to those who succeed at failing. I am the rudder that directs the warships that must go sailing. I journey the motion of life where the track of the train be derailing. I ride the naked road still to reach the town in my wailing. Though the tears sweat out rain, evaporated by solar pain, and the stain is left by the blood, and the blood reaches the brain, and sacrifices are performed to thoughts, and thought is where my power remains. My thought emails ideas to action, and action is when I am the wind again. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. blessings begin. I am the wind in the moments when you think you might lose. I'm the pearl of wisdom found by the simplest fool. I walk with fallen angels and dine with them over booze. And fallen angels are former demons, and demons are the diamonds we did not choose. And choice is the voice that shouts from the sun top, that reaches the real till you feel the truth chop. And shake and chain and name the lies top, to feel the stitch, to feed the stitch when the lies stop. But can I stop these wings? My heart, these wings that soar across the sky, these wings, I am the breath beneath the butterfly, these wings, this grace that glides along the wind, these wings that make rejected stones ascend, these wings, fresh faith, I was the doubting door, I am no more, but am that stone that with the Christ Christine angels adore, these wings, you hear the sound that sings and rings, the bells beneath waving strings, baptized in crystal fire, never again to live beneath the high light, letting loose like lightning, looking lethal, luring little leaves, lubricating blood that is launched from the board. Triple darkness overcome, but not the sun. He be the righteous one. His rock cannot be moved. He is the King of glory. His name, my friend. I am that I am, therefore I am the wind. I am the wind, says the eagle within. I am the wind that wrestles the air grown thin. I am the strength you found my weakness in. But in my weakness then I find my blessings begin.
All right, that's Darius Wallace, and we want to tell you thank you for being here. Don't forget about the Miss Tullahoma contest. We'll be over there filming that.
And this weekend, don't forget Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias, and don't forget that sometime in the month of February or the 1st of March, we will be switching to LightTube Channel 6. So our friends on Spectrum, we will not be on Spectrum anymore. We're going solely to LightTube. We will also, though, still stream to our website, and that is the link on channel 6, the number.com on YouTube.
And
Thank you for watching.
Oh, okay, don't forget to get your sweetheart and go to the Bell Boca Banquet Hall.
There you go.